This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Hello, welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio. Kevin Smith here. These are the top stories we're tracking. Stabroek Block deal reveals gas to shore project and not a cash cow for ExxonMobil. Only 10 GRA officers auditing Guyana's billion-dollar oil industry. CARICOM rejects acts of aggression by Venezuela against Guyana, and Police Service Commission in talks to settle promotions case out of court. Do stay tuned.
Digicel Prime Bundles just got better with 3 new apps. Watch more with PlayGo. Share more with Sportsmax. Read more news with Loop. Listen more with D-Music. Plus extra data. It's simply more bundles together. 51 gigabytes for 7 days for only $2,000. Live the experience with Digicel. Activate today on the My Digicel app.
And now for the news in detail. On the surface, the proposed gas-to-shore project appears to be one of the solutions to Guyana's energy supply woes. But once that veil is removed, the true face of the venture is revealed. It is nothing more than another cash cow for ExxonMobil and its partners. The true likeness and image of the project are harnessed from the terms of the Stabroek Block sharing agreement. The provisions state that all costs incurred by the government for the infrastructure and handling of excess associated gas, which is not included in the development plan, shall be at the sole risk and expense of the government and will not affect the amount of cost oil and profit oil due to the contractor. Meanwhile, the 2019 Auditor General's report has revealed that as of 2019, Guyana has only 10 officers from GRA's Petroleum Revenue Department involved in the auditing and of costs incurred from the oil sector, even as the billions in bills continue to pile on. The AG's report outlined that since the unit's initial establishment back in September 2019, it boasted 15 officers, but it was noted that only 10 of them were directly involved in the execution of audits. Such a small team may not be enough. Only recently, Vice President Bauer Tatagdio revealed that Guyana has in excess of $6 billion in oil-related expenses to audit from petro giant ExxonMobil and Stabroek Block partners, affiliates, and subcontractors. Meanwhile, CARICOM has expressed their deep disappointment and concern at the decree and subsequent statements by Venezuela with respect to that country's border controversy with Guyana, including intimations of the creation of a strategic area of national development called Territory for the Development of the Atlantic Facade. In a statement issued yesterday, CARICOM said it firmly rejects any acts of aggression by Venezuela against Guyana. It also sought to reiterate strongest possible terms in its firm and unswerving support in the maintenance and preservation of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Guyana. And moving on, the Police Service Commission is in talks to settle the court cases over unfair practices in senior cop promotions. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal informed the High Court yesterday that he has engaged Chairman of the PSC, Assistant Police Commissioner Paul Slow, in discussions towards reaching a resolution outside the judicial process. Nandlal told Chief Justice Roxanne George Wiltshire that a meeting is scheduled for Friday with the PSC chair, who is currently in Bangladesh. The AG explained that the chair is expected to join him and the aggrieved and affected parties for a virtual meeting towards finding a solution. It is now 12 hours 5 coming up after the break. Guyana and U.S. signed goods and service agreement. Maduro on PR offensive over Essequibo claims. 5 years now, alleged rape victim, 16-year-old, awaiting justice. Meanwhile, appeal court tells convicted rapist, go back and serve your sentence. And in a gruesome murder of West Berbice teens, EAAF director claims he was never offered autopsy video. Minister of Home Affairs Police says he is lying, and suspected Sindicato gang members rob Kaituma businessman. Do stay tuned. Join Glenn Lal himself on the Glenn Lal Show. Tell it like it is. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Weekdays at 7:20 p.m. and Sunday at 7 p.m. Tell it like it is. Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. Guyana and the United States of America yesterday signed an agreement which allows the exchange of goods and services between the two countries' defense force. The acquisition and cross-servicing agreement was signed by Chief of Staff of the GDF, Brigadier Godfrey Bess, on behalf of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana and Commander of the U.S. Southern Command Navy Admiral Craig Fowler. The signing of the agreement paved the way for the exchange of goods and services of equal value to support future bilateral defense cooperation. The purpose of the agreement is to establish basic terms, conditions, and procedures to facilitate mutual provision of logistic support, supplies, and services between the two countries. Meanwhile, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his regime have started to proactively use public relations to put forward their position on claiming the Essequibo. The Essequibo has been in a bitter territorial dispute between Guyana and Venezuela for a number of years now. The matter has been brought before the International Court of Justice, where it ruled on December 18, 2019, that it has jurisdiction to resolve the issue. Guyana's argument is that it has sovereign rights over the coastland territory because it was awarded to the then British Guyana in 1899 arbitral award. In response to these recent developments, Maduro has since taken to an aggressive approach on all fronts. Notably, one of the strategies is to use public relations to aggressively state his position on the Essequibo claims. And now let's tell you, it has been more than 5 years since a report was made concerning the alleged rape of an 11-year-old girl, and the perpetrator has not been brought to justice. Recently, the teen, who is now 16 years old, confided in a couple about allegedly being raped continuously by her father, stepfather, brother, and even one of her cousins. Upon hearing the teen's story, the couple reached out to Facebook activist Melissa Atwell, or popularly known in social media as Melly Mel. In a Facebook Live on Sunday evening, Atwell shared the story and called out members of the Guyana Police Force for, and I quote, the slackness and ridiculousness that goes on in the GPF as it relates to rape victims. And now let's tell you, the Court of Appeal yesterday rejected a request from a convicted rapist Calvin Ramturan, essentially telling him to go back to serving his 23-year jail sentence. The ruling was delivered by Chancellor of the Judiciary Justice Janet Cummings Edwards at the appeal court in Kingston. In dismissing the appeal, Justice Cummings Edwards noted that the court found that Ramturan's case had no merit as it relates to the grounds of appeal. According to the Chancellor, the court disagreed with arguments that Ramturan's sentence was severe in all circumstances. And moving on, even as director of the Argentine forensic team, Dr. Louis Fontbriber has stated that the Guyana Police Force has never made any offer to him to view videos of the autopsies conducted on the Berbice teens who were slain in early September of 2020. The Minister of Home Affairs and the Guyana Police Force are countering his claims. Dr. Louis had been brought in by the Ghana Human Rights Association to assess whether or not his team can help in solving the case or not. Both GPF and the Ministry of Home Affairs have since sent out respective statements calling fund bribery claims false. And now let's tell you the Police Service Commission is in talks to settle the court case over unfair practices in senior cop promotions. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal informed the High Court yesterday that he has engaged the chairman of the PSC, Assistant Commissioner Paul Slow, in discussions towards reaching a resolution outside the judicial process. Meanwhile, 3 Venezuelan nationals suspected to be members of the notorious Sindicato invaded the home of a Port Kaituma businessman on Tuesday and robbed him of guns, ammunition, and millions in cash. The businessman, 56-year-old Elroy Alam, is the owner of a hardware store in Port Kaituma in Region 1 and lived at the waterfront. According to police, the armed foreign bandits entered Alam's premises around 23 hours. The bandits held Alam and his wife at gunpoint and searched the house. And now let's tell you, Region 5 accounted for 35 out of 65 new COVID-19 cases recorded yesterday, and the spike in the cases follows a warning from the Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, that the indigenous village of Morai Kubai in Region 5 is now seeing an increase in cases. 21 cases were recovered in Region 4, 2 new cases in Region 3, 1 new case in Region 6, 4 new cases in Region 7, and 2 new cases in Region 10. Additionally, there are 378 patients in home isolation, 55 patients are in institutional isolation, and 3 patients are in the COVID-19 ICU. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's Newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.